morning, everybody.
Good morning, Rabbi.
This week's parsha is Yitro, or Jethro. What's Jethro? Jethro was the father-in-law of Moshe Rabbeinu. And this week's parsha, the story is told how he is coming now to visit Moshe. He's coming from Midian. He's traveling all the way to visit Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, and the Jewish people in the wilderness as they're traveling towards Israel. And the parsha, the name of the parsha is called Yisro, on his name. That's number one. The second thing is, there's something very special that we learn from him in this week's parsha. That when he heard the story of Exodus and how God saved the Jewish people from Egypt, he said something. He said, Baruch Hashem, blessed is God. And because he said, blessed is God, that's how we have it today. How you doing? Baruch Hashem. Right? You ask somebody, how you doing today? Thank God. So he was the one that said, thank God. He was the one that came up with it. He has the copyright. He makes money every time you may say, thank God. So there's a question here. There's a question here. Why do we, what's so important about Yisro that the Torah is talking about him, that we have to know that he said what he said? Why is it important? What does it come to teach us? And this is a very, very special lesson. Jethro was a priest. He was a priest, and he knew every type of idol worship of that time. And it doesn't just mean he knew how to do it. He knew how to serve the worship. He knew the style. But he understood all the philosophy, all the ideas out there at that time, all the concepts of why this one served to this one, and there was explanations. There were certain explanations. And in short, just to understand how it worked back in the olden days, you know, we have, even till today we have this, but they have the constellations. And there are people that are able to look at the constellations, the stars and whatever is going on up there, and they're able to see things. They're able to see the future, because anything spiritual has to go through a process. That's part of the process. The constellations is part of the process where things from spiritual become more physical till it could enter this world. So what people thought was that, listen, God left the world into the hands of the constellations, the sun, the moon, the stars, and all and so on and so forth. And we have to be friends with them. We got to reach out to them to be able to get it. If we don't reach out to them, we don't connect with them, we're not going to get our blessings. So they understood the mechanics of this world, and therefore they connected to these different types of idol worship. What's the problem? What's wrong with that? Because really the explanation is that these galaxies and these constellations and all the other things that come in between are gegarzim biyad ha'choitzev. They're only axe in the hand of the woodchopper. They're a processing center. They don't have a mind for themselves. They're a computer. It's a computer program. Everything's running on a conveyor belt. You don't talk to a conveyor belt. Hey, mister, can you pass me a package? It's going. You could talk from today to tomorrow. It's not going to change anything. So Yisro knew all these types of idol worship. He knew all these types of, combinations of why people serve to this and why people serve to that, and what you have to say, or how you say it, what you do, and whatever it is that they did in that time. And he came, and after he heard the story of Egypt, how God took the Jewish people out of Egypt and destroyed Egypt, he said, wow, this Baruch Hashem, now I know. Text says it, Ati Adati, now I know. Ki Godol Hashem Mikol Elohim. God is greater than any other entity out there. This is it. Why? Because he didn't just pay them back, he paid them back the same way as they did it to the Jews. It was measure for measure. To go measure for measure, you have to rule everything. You can't just be the sun. You can't just be the moon. You can't just do one thing. You have to be internally involved in every single aspect of the world to be able to do that. So that's when he said, this is already totally different. This is a whole different level. Now, what's interesting about this, that he was really from the other side. He was really an idol worshiper. But this comes to show us that every single person, wherever you are, and whatever your past is, and whatever you're carrying, if you could take that, and you could utilize that to serve Hashem now, at this moment, then you're elevating everything you had in the past. And this is what Yisro did. Yisro now he's a name in the parsha. He's got his own real estate in the parsha, in the Torah. Why? Because he came to take everything he accomplished throughout his life, and he brought it up to say, now I know that God is it. Now I can take my past history and I could use it to utilize, to be able to serve Hashem, to recognize what the truth is. So we, every single one of us, whatever our past is, whatever we're dealing with, wherever we find ourselves right now, this second, if I could take this moment and be able to recognize Hashem for this is what it is, you got a parsha in the Torah. So Hashem bless you. Have a wonderful day.